Here we are again, Pat in the cockpit. Welcome aboard. It's March 6th, 1900 Zulu, just about. What is it, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock San Diego time? We're going to do a flight today. Let's get in the cockpit. Welcome aboard. We're going to do a flight today from Hilo, Hawaii to Honolulu. It's a short 40-minute flight. I'm mainly going to test some updates to Zibomod. Version 4.2 that came out yesterday that was working on some updates to the VNAV and maybe the auto throttle disconnect. I'm not sure. We're gonna test it. Do a little quick flight, test things out, just a fun time. So let's power things up first. Obviously, the first thing I do is make sure my stream is up and running and live. So bear with me 1 second. Oops. And live. So bear with me one. Okay. Looks like we're live. But we're not picking up. Oh, okay, we're good there. Let me pop this chat out. Live chat, pop it out. Okay, I think we're good. Let me just type in here where we're going. Okay, checklist. And we'll get the dispatch load sheet out first. Let's print that out on our printer down here. Bear with me 1 second. And we just ran out of paper. Okay, maintenance. New roll of paper in the printer. Stand by, please. Okay, before I do that, let me get the plane fired up. Did voltmeter on battery, and we're going to close the battery switch and the standby switch. And since we don't have ground power or cart here, we're going to fire up that APU and get that fired up first of all. Having a problem with okay, and also we're going to move over the gate. Here comes the gate over. You'll see it coming over. Get the APU fired up. Get on board. We'll open up the front door. Looks like the cargo doors are already opened up. So, and we didn't fire up the APU. We just got it warmed up. Why isn't it coming up? Why isn't it coming up? Houston, we have a problem. Bear with me 1 second. It's always something. Let's go into the virtual plane real quick. And look and see if the... Nope, it's not fired up. Okay. Okay, it moved. We should fire it up. There it goes. Nope. Why isn't the AP coming online? It's always something. Restart Air Manager maybe? understand why we don't have APU coming online. Okay, all else fails. Let's just do a little reset here. Bear with me. I'm just going to reset the plane. So that's two problems we've had so far. There it comes. Now it's coming up. Okay. Who knows? I don't know. It's always something. And once the APU gets online, we get some power in here. Okay. Alternate flaps are guarded. Fuel pumps are off. Wipers are parked. Hydraulics are off. We'll get some. Once we get the APU online, we'll get some pressure in the hydraulic system so we don't roll away. Here, we got APU and we're online and the pressure's coming up. Okay, that's good. Landing gear lever is down. 3 green is confirmed. The weather radar is off and test. Fire warning. Passes. And we'll move that gate back over. Who knows? Okay, we got pressure on the brakes. We've got chalk set. Okay. Ground power is APU is on. Voltmeter is set for APU and confirmed. We use APU bleed, so we'll turn the APU bleed on. Packs to auto and isolation valve to auto. Electrical panel. So maintenance is good and the galley is on. And we'll spin up the IRSs. And so in my stream, right here is my FMC. So you can see it, and over here is my primary flight display and my nav display. Some flight information up here. And right up here is my little camera over my left shoulder. I put the CDU over here so you can see me as I type it down here on the panel. Okay, so we've got a 737-800 winglet version with 26,000 pounds of thrust, and nav data is up to date, and the out program's good. So we'll go to position initialization, and we're at Papa, where are we? Hotel, Tango, Oscar, and we're at gate 5, and we'll grab these GPS coordinates right there, and we'll throw them in right there. Don't think we have ATC this morning in Hawaii. It's early in Hawaii. So as the IRSs spin up, we're going to go to nav data and grab our flight plan, which is a company route already done from, we do our dispatch work from SimBrief, and we send it to Navigraph, which is on this Microsoft Surface. We use that for the electronic flight bag. Oh, let's start the flight. Get the doors open. There we go. It's all good. And this iPad we have just 4 flight on. So we have Navigraph, Charts 8 here, and the electronic flight bag by Patch 99. And SimPassion. Okay, so we've grabbed our company route. And we'll go back to route and drop it in right there. And this is American 1. We like to fly as, and we'll be taking off on runway 08. That's a downwind departure. Let's check the weather. In Hilo at 1853 Zulu, just a few minutes ago, winds were calm. Visibility is 10. Sky is clear. 25 and 18.
Guys, the leaders on board.
Altimeter is 2990 at runway 8. Actually, it doesn't get much calmer than this. And let's check the arrival into Honolulu, Papa Hotel. No, Papa Hotel, November Lima, I think. Yeah. And 210 at 3. We'll be coming in on runway 4 right. That's what the real world's doing. Okay, we're all set there. So our routing today is, hold on, before we talk routing, let's finish up the originator portion of the checklist. So IRSs are spun up, emergency lights are armed, and that's confirmed.
The seatbelt sign is on.
Got people.
Please be seated and fasten your seatbelt.
Air conditioner is, trim air is on, and air conditioner set.
Just down to a reminder, we cannot leave the gate until all carrying items are properly put away. All overhead bins are closed and all passengers are seated.
Parking brakes on chocks and exterior lights as required. So we'll turn the position steady light on. Logo off, everything else is off. Okay. And our transponder is off. So we were going to put the paper in there. That's what we were going to do. Just roll of paper. Put it in the printer. Go. Okay, let's try printing this out again. Stand by. Much better. So our little dispatch sheet here has all our information that's pertinent for the FMC from our sim brief, and it has all our performance data from virtual performance tool, which we use for our performance data. It's all printed out here on this printer. Very convenient. Okay, so done our dispatch work, and now we're going to start ACARS. Oh, we got doggies in the plane. I got doggies in the plane talking to me. Okay, start our ACARS right now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard. Please ensure that you fasten your seatbelt.
We're going to start our get our charts fired up here in Navigraph, and we're going to unload the previous flight and edit rid of all the old ones. And import in Navigraph charts 8, import from SimBrief today's flight. And it just brings it all in and puts the charts in. Doesn't get any better than that. In our 4 flight, we'll put the Hilo ground taxi chart. So we've got a ground taxi chart, and on our Navigraph, we're going to put the departure of the PHTO 1. So our routing today is the PHTO 1 to Lavas, direct to zhsi 1. Pretty simple.
Don't hesitate to ask the crew member.
RNAV, reliable, and we'll be coming in on the 4 right, most assuredly. Let's put that in there so we'll have it. Most assuredly, the 4 right. ILS Yankee 4 right from Alana. And the only other thing we need here is the parking gates and Honolulu. And we've got those. So we've got all our charts that we need. Okay. Very nice. IRSs are fired up and aligned. So let's do some FMC programming. We're going to depart on runway 8, the PHTO 1 Lavas transition, and we'll be arriving on the ILS Yankee 4 right, Alana transition with the, let me check, we do our routing in 4 flight, the Shaley 1. Right there, Shaley 1, also with the Lavas. So everything cooks right up. We'll activate that, execute it, and then we'll go to performance initialization. On our, let's go through our sheet today. We have 143 passengers on board. Calculated fuel with the reserves and minimums and everything we need is 12,400. So we're going to request a fuel truck. Before we do anything, 12,499. 12,499, and we'll request that fuel truck.
Ground flight deck hose is connected and
payload today with 143 passengers, their baggage and cargo of 7,865 pounds is 33,033 pounds is the total payload. 33,033 pounds. So that gives us a ZFW of 128,100.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Put that in.
on behalf of the captain and crew, welcome aboard.
0.1.
Please make sure that your
And
seatbelts and trays are in their full
we've got our
upright
fuel
position.
loading and a takeoff
Also,
weight
ensure
of
that your seatbelt is correctly fastened.
140,325 pounds. Landing weight of
Thanks, and have a
135,243.
great flight.
Well, good there. Final reserves today are 2.3 thousand. Cost index is 60. We're going to only flight level 200 because it is a quick flight. Top of climb winds are 282 at 23 with an ISA of plus 13 degrees C. All this data that I'm getting off this little sheet here is here you can see is done in sim brief and exported in a 40 character format. I think I used the Leonardo MD80 format in sim brief because it's got 40 characters. I cut and paste the way I like it to give me all the dispatch information that's pertinent for takeoff and landing and performance information. And the performance information I get from Virtual Performance Tool. I just cut and paste it right into here and print it out, so everything is right here. It's real slick. Works real good. Put it right on my pedestal. So we're waiting for the fuel to load up. It should be fairly quick. I can't continue with my performance until the fuel's loaded up because it'll give me my total takeoff weight. I could tell it to figure out performance, but if the fuel wasn't right, my performance would be incorrect. So this way I'm forced to wait until the fuel's on board. And we got our charts. So we'll start the checklist while we're waiting for fuel. So leading edge devices are good. Intercom is off. Reversers are extinguished. EECs are on. The crew oxygen is sufficient. Passenger oxygen is normal and guarded. Voice recorder's on. Mach speed warning left and right. Stall warning right and left. 3 green, and a PSAU proximity alarm is off. We're going to do a flow test for the captain's side emergency oxygen, and we'll do a light test. We'll check our pedestal for a light test, and the fire control panel. Our CDUs look good, and the MIP, all the lights are lit. The glare shield looks good. The forward overhead, all the lights are lit, and the aft overhead. Everything looks good. Okay.
Ground to flight deck, fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
That means I can execute this and go to M1 limits. Let me finish my aft overhead, and we'll do the forward overhead in just a minute after we finish the FMC up. So for performance purposes, we're going to use reduced thrust to limit our N1 and make sure we can also have enough runway left to do a V1 cut if we have to. So that's all calculated in Virtual Performance Tool. So it gives us a temperature, simulated temperature outside of 67 degrees C, which limits sorry, that was my wife talking to me. Something more important than flight sim. Where was I? Performance tool. So we're going to use 67 degrees to simulate the temperature that's going to reduce our thrust to, eventually it's going to be 89.3. It says 90.3, but once I get the bleeds going, it'll go to 89.3. And we'll be able to get to V2. We'll be able to get to V1 and still have be able to do a V1 cut with enough runway left to do a brakes only rejected takeoff. So that's the whole purpose of that. You reduce the thrust, reduce the fuel and the wear and tear on the engine. So we're going to go to takeoff page, and we'll go to page 2, and the runway winds today are calm. So I'll just, we're taking off an 8, so I'll put 260 at 1. Give us a little tailwind just to give us some calculation buffer. Runway slope calculated to be it's up 0.01 degrees at 079 heading. It's a dry condition today. We've got all our other information, thrust reduction and acceleration height already programmed in. Cutback is now off, and I haven't flown with it on. I think I'm going to try it. I haven't. Reduction thrust is 800 AGL. I have not tried this with cutback before. I want to try it just to see what happens. Haven't done it in a long time. So we're turning the cutback on. We're going to reduce thrust at 800 AGL, and we'll restore it back at 3,000. Give it a try. Just haven't done that. So we're going to go to page 2, and we'll go to flaps 5, and center of gravity is 13.5, and that gives us a trim of 6.5. And we're going to set our trim now, but we're going to do a stab trim cutoff test at the same time. So this is our don't crash the max test. Set that for 6-ish. Exactly 6.5 on the calculation and 6.5 in the plane. So we'll run a little over 6.25. And we'll put in our V1 and rotate in V2. So today our V1, the plane says 142, our sheet says 138, rotates one within 1 knot, 140, and V2 is 144, it's within 1 knot. So we'll set this to 145. Our heading is going to be 079. It's good, and we're going to off the departure. Departure says we go to 10,000 in lieu of ATC, and there is no ATC on right now, so we'll set it to our top altitude 20,000. Okay, so we got 145 heading and altitude, and we can go ahead and set our MCP on. We'll engage it, captain side, first officer side, VNAV, and LNAV. So now we're going to step through our routing. We're going to put the EPIS to plan, and on the FMC we'll put it to legs, and we're going to step through, and you'll see on the nav display we're going to take off and immediately take a left and go up to PICO after above 538 feet. So right to PICO, and we'll continue on with our departure to Lavis and start our arrival, and it'll take us to Shelley, and then we're going to vector to Alana, so we'll bring that up. It's not a discontinuity, it's a vector, and usually if there was ATC we would stay on a heading on the last waypoint of the arrival until vector to the approach. In lieu of ATC we'll just put it in there and step over to Alana, Shelley, over to Alana, and then turn inbound. So we'll go in here and put a fix in Honolulu PHNL, and we'll put a 100-mile circle, which is going to give us an indication of where we'll be top of descent approximately. and at 20,000 it will be much lower. We'll put a 30-mile circle, and that's where we're going to be at 10,000 feet at 250 knots, and we'll put a 10-mile circle around Honolulu, and that's where we need to be flaps up maneuvering speed. So again, we're going to step through, and we'll see here that Alana is about 15 miles out. Yep, Goo is about 15 miles out, and then we'll go and do our approach and land. So the performance calculations complete, and the lateral navigation is complete. Let's go ahead and look at our checklist. Okay, forward overhead, all the standbys are guarded, and the yaw damper is on. Navigations are in normal. Displays are auto and normal. Cross-feed checks in progress. That's good. Fuel pumps. And we're set there. Move that over. Window heat test and overheat test is in progress. TAT test, voice recorder test, and let's go ahead and shut the doors. Ground services, shut the forward door, shut the cargo door. And we're going to go ahead and set the parking brake.
Ladies and gentlemen, the boarding door is now closed. Flight attendants prepare doors for departure. Cross-check, verify straps, stand by for all call.
Okay. Gonna move the gate back.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Gate's going back. Okay. And we can go ahead and call for a tug.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
Stand by here. Get my tug ready.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay, tow's driving up. Checklist. Fix something
The crew
here.
will now be coming through to do a final cabin check. We'll be back after takeoff with more information about our flight.
And let's make sure that we're live on VATSIM and live on our airline. So we got the Maui approach on. We're not going to Maui. That's all that's on right now. Good there. And we go up to our company, join ABA, make sure we're visible there.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
We're not. Oh, you know, I never filed. Do. That's why. File flight plan. And we're filed. It'll take us a second to pop up. Okay. I'm going to continue on with our checkbooks. So we got down to the voice recorder. We got the doors shut. Air conditioner's good. The trim air is on. Research to auto. Packs are to auto. We'll turn the isolation valve to open. APU to open. Bleeds. Engine bleeds on.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Set there. We're going to 20,000. Altitude here is pretty much sea level. Outflow valve and alternate. And then manual. Close it. Open it. Okay, that's good. Still, we're in steady for the position light. Turn the anti-collision light on, and we'll put the transponder on. We'll do our squib test and our cargo fire test. That passes, and we'll zero out our trims for aileron and rudder. That's all good. We've got our frequencies in on 22.8, and we've got the frequencies for the departure. We got ETO at 116.9, and that came alive on the VOR. And we like to have a return to departure ILS in just in case, like the 26. Because we have to return back. Oops, my mistake here. Messed that up. Bear with me 1 second. So what we're looking for is an approach to the 26. Oh, that's Honolulu. I'm such an idiot.
Always put your own mask on first, and then help others near you.
The light test is located under the seat or between seats. Safety instruction card shows the exact location.
To use the vest, open the
Let me
cover
put that
by
frequency in
pulling
for the
the
return ILS. We'll have to come back. 110.7. This way I don't have to go looking for a chart. I'll put in the frequency, I mean a heading of 259. And we're taking out the 079. We'll set on the frequencies. And we're doing this just in case we have to come back. We don't have to mess around with the charts. Or the putting all the frequencies in. We're all good there. Go down the checklist again. Radios are set, EFIS panels. Local pressure is 2990. We'll set that on both the captains, the first officers, and the standby gauge is confirmed. Mode control panel is good. Blades are set, pressurization is set, nose wheel steering is guarded. We'll do the auto flight annunciator test. We should get 3 amperes, 2 reds and an amber. Our N1 is auto, our speed rep is auto. Reset the fuel flow, and auto brake is RTO. We're going to confirm that the artificial horizon is level on the PFD, and that we have 45 on the speed tape, yes, and our speed is shown at 145 and 20,000. Confirm what's on the MCP. Initial climb altitude, that's heading indicator is correct, and it matches. And the terrain matches. So it says we're about 40, 50 feet here. Let's actually look and see what they're calling it. They're calling it 27 feet. So we'll set that to 50. Okay, moving down the list. Sufficient fuel and oil, 18 quarts per engine, and fuel is 12, 13, 14, and we're supposed to have 12.4. We're good. Okay, speed brake lever is down. Flaps are stowed, reversers are stowed. Thrust configuration for the right side, configuration alarm, and a thrust configuration alarm for the left side. That's all good. Parking brake is set, chocks are removed, cutoff levers are down, stab trim has been completed, fire squib bottles, I think we already did that in the cargo, we'll redo it, and that's all good. Rudder trim is done, stabilizer override switch is closed. Let's do the proximity warning test.
Flight slow.
That's in progress. So
up.
Let's confirm the 0 fuel weight.
Wind shear.
And that is 128.1. Our N1s are set to 89.4. That's exactly what it should be off the sheet.
Don't sink.
89.3 and 89.4.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Gear.
V speeds are set.
Too low. Flaps. Too low.
142, 142, and 145.
Bank angle.
Trims are set. 6.5.
Approaching minimums.
Fuel pumps. We don't need the center tanks today. APU is online and confirmed.
500.
And
400.
set gate for departure. Confirm all equipment is removed and doors are shut. Pushback time noted.
50.
40, so we're going to push back at
30. 20.
19.
10.
27 Zulu, and on the engines of the Hobbs meter, we have 61 on the engine.
Terrain ahead.
56, 61.
Terrain ahead.
Okay.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
Start pressure. We'll
Obstacle.
let's call the tug.
Obstacle ahead. Pull up.
Did I call the tug? I'm such a brain donor. Miranda, hi. Stand by just a second. Jim, hello. Okay, where was I? I was going to check outside to see if the tug was hooked up. I don't think it is. It is. I had already had it hooked up and forgot. Way to go, Miranda. You got Laras. Jim, how you doing? Yep, more work. I know what that means. Okay, I'm going Hilo to Honolulu, and we don't have ATC on. So where was I? It's getting ready to push back. So left and right packs are off. Research are auto. APU bleed is on. Start pressure adequate for start. Anti-collision light is on. Start sequence would be number 2, then number 1. So we're gonna go ahead and clear left, clear right, and announce. Hilo ground, American 1 pushing back 8-5. Okay, put that to there.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Let's crank on number 2. Volume's okay there, Jim? Yep, working on your FB and your book. That's very nice. I'm doing a Zibomod 4.2 checkout for the RNAV and the auto throttle for Nico. Okay, we're up to max motor and we're going to lift that fuel lever, get the spar valve open. And we've got light off with fuel flow on number 2. And N1's coming up. And starting number 1, so we'll do isolate and ventilate. So we're going to isolate and then ventilate, turn the packs on and turn off the isolation valve. We don't want to have dual bleeds here. Packs to auto. Okay, and we're going to crank on number 1. We don't want to use our right engine and our APU to crank on number 1, so we'll just isolate that one. But we still want to have the packs on, so use the number 2 engine for the packs. Captain Doug, our first officer Doug, taught me that procedure. Okay, we're max motoring on number 1. We'll lift the fuel valve, open up the spar valve. Pressure light is we've got light off. Oil pressure light is off. And 1's coming up, nice and stable. Okay, everything's looking good there.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Thanks for the audio report, Jim. I appreciate it. So we'll be taxiing out on Echo, hanging a right on Alpha, going down and crossing runway 21, and lining up on runway 8.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
It's good. Turn on the TAT. Well, actually, let's just use the checklist like we're supposed to. Fuel cutoff levers are up. Generators are on. And we'll confirm power on the rectifiers. All 3 rectifiers. And we're all good on the power on the generators. Probe heats are on. Window heats are on. Anti-ice is in request. required. Hydraulics are all on. Bleeds, we have engine bleeds off, APU bleed off, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, packs to auto, isolation valve to open, to auto, excuse me. Exterior lights, we'll put the taxi on, APU is off, continuous on the starters. Master caution is clear. Flap set for takeoff and coming up, and that's confirmed. Transponder set to auto 2200. Weather radar, we'll put terrain on the captain's side and weather on the first officer's side. And let's do a flight control test. Do pitch. A little rock and roll and some rudder. All good. Okay, we're ready to taxi out. Let's announce. Hilo, ground, American 1, taxiing out, Echo, Alpha, crossing 2-1 to runway 8. Brakes off, attendant notified. Yeah, we're going to hang right here. Hey Gene, how you doing? Oh, your pings. We're flying Hilo to Honolulu, little 40-minute flight.
If I could have everyone's full attention while we were
checking out some
that would be
updated
great.
Zibomod software.
Seatbelt sign illuminates. You must fasten your seatbelt.
Just going through the procedures.
One into the other, and tighten by pulling up
So
the
Jim, this is my
strap.
buddy Gene here, Sailor
Seatbelt
Jim,
by
Gene.
lifting the upper portion of the
Gene's in
buckle.
San Diego.
It's recommended that you keep your
Gene's
seatbelt
the one that
fastened
I'm going to do
during
the
flight.
March 30th Old Bull
There's
Pilots
several emergency exits on this
presentation for.
aircraft. Please take a moment now to locate the nearest exit to you. In some
Yeah,
cases,
VATSIM does
the
cover
nearest
white,
exit
but they're
is
not on
on
today, not this morning. They will be a little bit
Evacuate
later,
the
I'm
aircraft.
sure.
Lower
But
level lighting will
yeah,
guide you
I'm
towards
surprised they're
the
not on. I wish they were, but
field
they're
by
not.
moving the
I
handle
really
in the
wanted to do
direction of
this
the arrow.
stream to test out this updated Zibomod 4.2 software. So that's the main reason I'm doing it. Okay, here's Alpha. We're going to go down to Alpha.
Oxygen and air pressure are consistently monitored.
So
In the event of a
Husky,
an oxygen mask will fall in front of you.
1976 Husky, my buddy
Start
Gene
to
here has
blow
asked me to do
pull the mask
a
towards you,
presentation to
place
the
it
Old
firmly
Bull
over your
Pilots
mouth
Club
and
in Palm Springs
secure
at the end of the month
elastic band
about
behind your head to
building
breathe
my
normally.
sim.
Although the bag
All the
is
reasons
not
you
in
don't
place,
want to do it.
oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you're traveling with a child or someone who needs assistance,
We're working on
secure your own mask
getting
first,
that
then
completed.
assist the other person.
So Gene, you want to come down and pick up
Mask
that
on, remember, advise you use
butt
the
kicker equipment? That's
In the
great.
event of an emergency,
Friday would be
take
fine.
the bracing
Give me a
position,
text when you want to come
slowly with
down.
your hands on top of your head, and your
Also,
elbows against
I don't
your
have the
thighs.
adapter
Ensure
for
your
the
feet are
seat,
flat on the floor.
so you'll have to
A
check
life
with the
vest is
company,
located in a pouch under your
Rutenmeyer, I
seat
think it is,
underneath
about
the
the
armrest. When
clamping
instructed to
adapter
do
that
so,
hooks to your
open
seat.
the plastic pouch and
It'll
remove
hook
the
to a
vest.
sofa, no
Put it
problem,
over your head,
but to a
fasten
roll-around
straps
chair,
around your
you'll need an
waist,
adapter.
and adjust at the front.
Plus, this is
Hold it when
I have a
leaving the aircraft.
130
Place the vest by pulling
what is it?
firmly on the red
130
cord.
watt
Keep
amp,
the
and not a
vest
90.
low into your
I have the
mouthpiece.
larger amp.
Use the whistle
More
and light to
kick to
attract
me in the butt.
attention. Also, your seatbelt and cushion can be used as a flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat, slip your arms into the straps, and
Yeah,
tuck the cushion to your chest.
Today's a big day for me flying, but tomorrow's going to be get all the pictures ready to send to you.
Or when permitted by the crew.
We'll be taking care of that
Mobile
most
phones
likely
must be
tomorrow.
turned off at
I
all
seriously doubt
times.
today.
This is a non-smoking flight. Remember that damaging the smoke detectors located in the laboratories is prohibited by law. You will find this and all other safety information in the card located in the seat pocket in front of you. We strongly suggest
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to connect this physically. Maybe a U-bolt.
Ask myself or one of our crew members. We wish you all an enjoyable flight.
When you get it, you can take a look at it. Let me look and see if there's any other traffic coming in right now on VATSIM. Nope, and I am visible on VATSIM. Let me check Joint AVA, make sure I'm visible there so I can get credit for this flight. There I am. I'd like to try here with you one of these days is try both my cameras here in the window. Try my good Sony, the one we're looking for back here, or try this one I have. Figure out which one we want to use for the presentation. We'll try them both, and you can, from your vantage point, you can pick which one you think will work better. The Sony behind me is zoom. They go 11 to I think 44 millimeter is it? And this webcam one here is fixed. Okay, we're crossing this active, and it is 2-1, and I see nobody coming in. I like to turn on lights when I cross actives, and we're going to be lining up here anyway, so I'll announce that. Hilo, Traffic American 1, lining up runway 08. Lights.
For departure.
Auto throttle and TARA. Clear left. Make sure nobody's coming in.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Clear right. Okay, we're going to go straight out and immediately do a left departure. Get a little VOR out there you'll be able to see. Lined up. And we've got a 9,800 foot runway today. It's clear. Stop right here. And I'm going to double check the weather. Winds are calm, 2990, or we're all set. Got my charts. We're ready to go. Check the caffeine level. Caffeine level looks good. Jim is in Chandler, Arizona. He has a sim similar to mine, Gene. He's got some differences, but he's got a flight deck solution sim. Here we go. Brakes off, bring it up to 40%. And hit the toga button. Throttle's advancing. Engines are stabilized, and the tape's alive. A little forward pressure on the yoke, keep the nose down. Do that to 80 knots.
80 knots.
And we'll confirm the thrust hold and stabilize engines and trim set. We're through 100 knots. Coming up on V1.
V1 tape.
And let's fly the plane.
Positive rate.
Confirm and gear up. And we're going to automatically do autopilot because that's the test today. Here we go. We'll turn left. At 400 feet, we put it up. We wanted to test the autopilot.
1,000.
And actually, I should have waited until we were above the white bug. So we're accelerating and we're climbing. Let's go to flaps 1. Climbing up at 800 feet per minute. Minimum flaps retraction altitude is actually 800, so I started a little early. My mistake. Flaps up, and we are accelerating. I should have waited to 800 feet. Oh no. Starting autopilot is okay, but I kind of hate to put it on autopilot but I still have flaps down. I guess some airlines allow you to do that. And you can't put the autopilot on until 400 feet, which I did. So confirm flaps up and climbing out at 1,000 and the speed's increasing. Good. And if you look over on the left, that green, yellow, right, that's what mountain is that? That one in Hilo that's got they're all volcanoes. The big tall one, I forget, 14,000 footer. I know Honolulu on Maui. I forget the name of the one over here on the left. Okay, 2,400 feet. We're going to do as much autopilot as we can today to test out the updates to Zibomod. So far, so good. Put our progress page on there, and you can see, actually, let's put the legs page on. Scenery is pretty darn good here in X-Plane, geographically speaking, and the vegetation and the roads. Really well done. Yeah, Gene, the Jetmax is basically the same thing I have, but it only goes over to the gear lever, so it doesn't have a first officer seat. That's the same hardware. Got the MCP and one EFIS. And he has my old Jetmax throttle that I adapted for Jim does, that I adapted for the backlighting, put all new Hall effect transducers in, or Hall effect potentiometers and backlighting. Jim got that for me when I got the motorized one. And he also flies X-Plane. Big mountain there. I'm at 8,000 feet. I'm looking up at it. It is 13,632. Man, that's 3,000 feet higher than Haleakala, or 2,000 feet. Good here, guys. Okay, through 10,000 feet, we'll do our after takeoff checklist. So autopilot is on and confirmed. Okay. Attendant is notified. Cabin pressure, we're about 1,000 pounds, 1,000 feet of pressurization in the cabin, and about 3.5 pounds. Positive rate of climb. Engine bleeds are on. Snacks are auto isolation is auto. AP bleed is off. Exterior lights as required. Engine starts off, logo off, lights off, auto brake off, and the landing gear is locked off on the pins. Passenger sides as required. Electrical power is looking good. Hydraulic systems, pressurization is good. Hydraulics look good. Cabin temp is 21 degrees C. Engine status, we're climbing out at about 6,000 pounds per hour, and we're scheduled to have, we're in progress, 7,500 pounds on arrival. 23 miles to the top of the climb and 194 miles to Honolulu. Okay. Landing arrival. Gene was, not too long ago, was really bitten by getting a full cockpit like I got. He really was hot to trot on it, and then he smartened up and realized the issues we talked about, about you really want to go down this road, and he smartened up a little bit. Decided he was going to take the better way of enjoying his semi. Okay, blue point is 112.3. We'll dial that one in. Right there. And we've got that VOR. It's the tip of Hilo, the north tip of Hilo. And then we'll grab Maui 115.1 over here. So we got Maui over there. Hilo right there, the tip of Hilo. So we'll be passing the tip of Hilo on our left and Honolulu Airport on our right. We should be seeing Honolulu on our right. We're at 18,000. We'll go to standard pressure. We're good there. Yeah, don't be jealous there, Gene. Just because you don't have one of these, definitely didn't. No sense in buying one when you got friends that have them. And you want frustration? Go ahead and get one.
1,000 to go.
I guarantee you to get frustrations now. Let's put in Lahaina City on the Molokai. Yeah, that's 117.7. Yeah. And there's Molokai. 17.7. Probably start our descent at about 80 miles an hour. About right. We're at cruise. Let's see if we can get the Mai Tais rolling down the cart.
Can you go ahead and start service?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Total levels are initial cruise altitude expected. Fairly smooth ride today. We have the seatbelt sign turned off, and while you're seated, we do ask that you
And then Jim's got drug pushers like me to keep on taking them on.
We do thank you for flying with us on American.
Here we are, playing pilot again, looking down on people. So Gene, I had a question for you. When we do the presentation on the 30th of March, what is the Old Pilots Club in Palm Springs? I think that you said that was the name of it. Might see those guys. Oh, I guess they will. It's being streamed. I just want to see who I'm insulting. Let's see who's flying in from Honolulu right now. We got two guys. We got a some type of plane. I don't realize doing 100 knots. Probably not. Another guy. There's stuff flying around. GA planes. Don't worry about that. Although I don't think we'll stream it. I think after this flight we might fly down to fly up to Kalahuri, Kailua on North Island down. Hawaii. Yeah, we'll fly to Hawaii. Runway be the Hui. I don't think Honolulu has got a runway long enough. But then we'll fly back down to probably Kona. Yeah, Kona. And then, maybe we're gonna go to Maui too. We're gonna go to Maui. We're gonna fly around. So there's Honolulu. Honolulu. What's the name of the big mountain? Maui. I've climbed twice in my life, so I should know. Honolulu. Alcala. That's right. Climb that. It's over 10,000 feet sea level twice on our tandem. Like that was fun. It really was. Okay, top of descent is 47 miles. So let's get the weather. Things going to happen real fast here. Sitting here yakking. Which is an hour ago, 2:10 and 3, and we'll get the weather in just a minute. So we're going to go into the descent page on forecast, and we've uploaded on the upload link from Simbrief, using the upload link, with the descent winds. We'll execute that, get initial reference, do flaps 30, put it 110.5. Frequency for the ILS and the 4 right. It says 4 right Yankee, and headed at 042 on the captain's side. 042. Okay. That's in there. We still have put in the VOR for Honolulu 14.8, 14.8, and we'll back it up with the ILS on the right side. Okay, and we've got 042 over here. Okay, go ahead and take a hard right and land. We are 41 miles top descent. Do our descent performance calculation. The runway is 4 right. Conditions are 210 and 3. It's a little old. We've got to put something in here now. Outside temperature is 23. 2988 up in altimeter. 2988. That's good. Flaps 30. And our landing weight's calculated at 135, 243. 243. VREF plus 5 of 148. That's approach speed. And we're going to be landing at 145 with flaps 30. Okay, we're all set there. We use brakes too. Okay. We actually don't want to cross. Runway 8. charts on the iPad, which is 4 flight, we'll put in 4 right Yankee. Let's go ahead and look at the missed approach. So 110.5 is the frequency confirmed on both sides with a heading of 042 and 042. We've got minimums. Climb at 540 feet, then turn right to 3,000, and heading outbound to Alana, 13.9 miles out, and hold. Okay, we can do that. Right turn, climb at 3,000. We're all set on a missed approach. So on the arrival, Shelly 1, into the arrival is 4,000 feet. So we're going to dial in 4,000 feet here. We're going to back off our descent rate. So we've got 12 miles. We'll set 4,000 feet off the chart. And we'll go into descent. And instead of 330, I'm going to put it to 280. Because that's just way too fast for this.
Honolulu traffic friendly 5244, we're going to cancel the arrival at Honolulu traffic.
There is some traffic out there. Get this chart again. Put in our VSD. Honolulu traffic, American 1 descending, Sheila 1 arrival at flight 200. So we can put 7 miles at 5 miles would give us 10 miles is 3,000, that's 1,500, we'll go 6,000 there. Let's put 240 and 6,000. 240 and 6,000. Okay, got everything in, armed here. standard. And check that weather again in Honolulu, which has been updated in 2988, and it's 210 at 3. So that shouldn't make much difference. 210 at 3, 10 mile visibility scattered at 2,000, broken 3,200, overcast at 65. Fixes. 20 mile fix in there. 30, 20, 10. Okay, we're dialed back in. Descent rates on schedule. Sheet. Good. Dilly at 6,000. Shally at 4,000. And what we're checking here is our descent on our RNAV is correct. And the auto throttle is correct. So far, so good. We're looking good. Blair Aviation, hello. Welcome aboard. Have you been here before, Blair's Aviation? Welcome to the cockpit. We're flying Hilo to Honolulu, 40-minute flight on our descent. Little layout of the plane. You can see the FMC right here, the captain's FMC. Over here is my primary flight display and nav display. You can't see over my shoulder, that's why I put them up here. I got my beauty cam up here, this one, and then there's some flight info up here. Speed looks good, descent looks good. We briefed arrival, we briefed the mist, we briefed the airport. We're going to gate C5 today, Charlie 5. Shows us that we're descending on the profile nicely. Honu at 9,500 is 6 miles away. Dili and Chile. We're in the RNAV, VNAV autopilot function. And we have our ILS course set in and frequency. And the VOR course set in with the backup ILS. We'll do our descent checklist just to make sure. Bleeds are set. It's set. Engine bleeds are on. Packs are good. Passenger sides are on. Auto brake is set. Auto brake 3 because we don't want to cross runway 8. Radios are set. Altimeter is set. Recall is clear. Landing data is approach 148, touchdown 145 at 30. Minimums are 258. Exterior lights as required. We'll flip them on in just a second. Get down below 250 knots at 10,000. Which is just about now. So we'll go ahead and our speed brakes are. Let's get those lights on, runway lights on, taxi lights on. Engine start switches, logo light, wing light. Got sheet and pressurization, recall, auto brakes, landing data, approach briefing completed. Altimeter set. Okay, ready for a landing checklist. Turn in. descent path. No, we're fine. We're going to be at 4,000 forever. We're really good here. The clouds are looking great. Right across all three screens. Realism level of the clouds is fabulous. Sometimes from the camera you can't tell. Captain Squid, welcome aboard. Yeah, cool clouds, I agree. They actually look better in the cockpit than they do on the stream. So the weather into Honolulu is scattered at 2,000, broken at 3,200, and overcast at 6,500. 10 miles of visibility. The winds are 210 at 3. Dew point's 22, and temperature's 24. So the dew point temperature is really close. A lot of moisture in the air, lots of clouds, and that's what I'm seeing. Coming up on 30 miles out. ATC still has not come on. Let's check the radar and somebody else in that spot. No, we're clear. Somebody else is coming in. Got some people coming in from the West Coast. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see 10 people. Out, let's go to our fixed page and we'll put a 30, a 20 to 15 mile circle around the runway. Viewing enjoyment. Down here. Kind of socked in here, 5,000.
Thousand to go.
I'm looking at the weather radar on core flight, and we should be in a cell here. Pick up on my weather radar. Let's see. It's just not picking up. Turning in off the arrival onto the approach. Direct Alana at 4,000. Speed's good. Let's get that speed brake off and armed. And we're at flaps up maneuvering speed. Put a 10-mile circle in. 20, 10, and a 15. Socked in here. We're holding at 4,000. We got the VOR for Honolulu picked up. We haven't picked up the local ones yet. I don't think we will. Quite a bit. And the code for that's going to be India uniform mic. blue out there between the cloud levels. Basically flying complete autopilot flight from takeoff at 400 feet until minimums or 5 miles out, just to test the RNAV and the auto throttle capability for Zibomod 4.2. That's the test today, and so far it's been, haven't seen any issues at all. RNP little bug here, that's really important to let us know how we're descending. Is right where it's supposed to be. Alana above 4,000, so we're going to hang at 4,000 and then we'll start on down. Here and get rid of that 20 mile and put a 5 mile in. 15, 10 and a 5. Got a nice arc approach at 15 miles out from Alana into Yepgu. 12 mile arc, excuse me. So let's put a mile to 15. Actually, it would be at 15. So where they measure from must be different than where they draw the circle. So we're seeing the arc coming in, and then we'll be turning inbound, and we got the approach, and you can see the blue line. That's the missed approach. In the upper left corner, we got the ground speed 221, true airspeed 226. Winds are 216 at this altitude, and we're going to Alana. We should be there at 3.7 miles at 2017. Safe terrain is above 3,300. We've got our ANP, RNP. Required navigation is 400. Actual is 60. We've got our VOR down here in the lower right. Honolulu VOR 14.4. Then we got the other VOR 11.5, which is actually the localizer, which we have not picked up. Here, Honolulu traffic. American 1 is right base 15 miles out for runway 04 right at 4,000 feet. And let's announce prepare to land. Everybody in your seats. Good there. circle, and that's flaps up maneuvering speed. A 5 mile, which is gear down, flaps 15. And a 3 mile circle, which is fully stabilized, ready to leave. And we just picked up the identifier for the VOR ILS flight slope, India Uniform Mike at 042. That is confirmed off the chart at 15.7 miles. We'll dial in our heading here to 042 because that's what we're going to be turning it into. 042 and 15 miles out. Confirmed. Still in the soup up here. Honolulu traffic, American 1 turning inbound, runway 04 right, 15 miles out, 4,000 feet. We'll go flaps 1, about 12 miles out. After we straighten that on inbound. Tell we're turning, but I can feel it. We're so socked in. And we are descending. You see the little carrot coming down here. As soon as it lines up, we'll definitely be starting our descent. Dial in our final approach 1500, final approach fix. And let's go ahead and give it a speed brake here. Slow us down. Probably a little too high. Okay. We're good now.
1,000 to go.
Speed's coming down nicely. About 9 miles out. Honolulu traffic, American 1, 9 miles out, runway 4 right. I can see the runway. Flaps 1. Okay. Let's take that speed brake off now. We'll go flaps 2. And let's grab the localizer. And we should be grabbing that. We have the localizer, 042, and we should be grabbing that glide slope any second. I still don't have the runway. I have the runway in sight. Glide slope's on. We'll set our missed approach to 4,000. 4,000? 3,000. Okay, missed approach to 3,000. Flip that over. Okay, there's the runway. Let's do flaps 10, get that speed down a little bit. Speed's coming down. And I don't have the Pappy light yet. Yeah, I did the 24 hours of VATSIM. Yeah, I remember you. You were right either in front of me or back of me. Let me land here. Yep. goes into Vancouver. Let me go flaps 15. Slow the speed
1,000.
down.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
It's my plane. Go flaps 30. Speed's coming down. Set the bug at 148. Get nose down. More power. Final approach checklist. 3 down and green. Flaps 30. Attendant notified. Runway clear. Clear to land. Power's good. Still a little high. Let's get it down. There we go. Much better.
500.
Yeah, big problems on
400.
That was a Zibomod 4.0. That was at
Approaching 300.
Here we go. Speed's good. On a glide slope.
Minimums. 200.
Clear land.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Engines and bring it on. Taper down. Speed brakes out and reverses on full.
80 knots.
Honolulu Traffic American 1 is crossing runway 08 on runway 4. Exit left. Full length. I should have gone off the Hilo. Sure we yelled at for that. Yeah, Lego Tango 23. I remember that. That was a long flight. I had RNAV problems on the descent, really bad. It was all over the place, just ugly. And now we got Zibomod 4.2 in here, and we just did a landing in Honolulu, and it looked really good. So we're gonna vacate here left. Flaps up. Honolulu Traffic American 1 is vacated runway 4 right, full length, Alpha to the gate. Charlie 5 today. Crossing 4 left. Clear 4 left. Okay, after landing checklist. Straightened out here. Taxi gate, exterior lights as needed. We don't need those landing lights. We don't need runway lights. We'll leave the taxi lights on. We'll turn off the engine starters. We'll turn off the probe and steady. Blinker is just a steady. Anti-collision is leave that on, and we'll turn our transponder to TA. Okay. Yaw damper is off, window heats are off, probes are off. We'll start the APU up. And that's coming online. Auto brake is off. Transponder, weather radar is off. And actually, we're going to go down Zulu instead of Alpha. There's nobody here. Let's see, weather radar is off, train radar. Reset that. And as soon as the APU is online, we'll turn off the engine bleeds. The APU bleed on. We don't need dual bleeds. Okay, to the gate, Charlie 5. Hold on a second there. Lego 20. Tango 23. Let me get to the gate here. We're going to Charlie 5. Should be right over there. I'm going to call this 100% successful on Zibomod 4.2. Didn't see a single problem with the auto throttle, with the MCP. It's almost 100% autopilot flight. And I tried to screw it up too. Yeah, when I was landing into Vancouver, I had a big problem. They changed the arrival a couple of times, and then they changed my approach from 8 right to 8 left twice. And then he went from the ILS to the RNAV, and then he was giving people the ILS. It was just a mess. He cleared me for the approach on the RNAV, which means I'm allowed to turn in. And I turned in on base, turned in on final, and then he kicked me out. I was 10 miles out, and he kicked me south. He never said why. Obviously, if I had done something wrong, I would have gotten yelled at. So I just think that he was a little, he was fixated on this RNAV thing instead of just throwing everybody on the ILS. And I think the separation was difficult on the RNAV. I don't know. It seems to be a problem sometimes when you get a lot of traffic and everybody's trying to do an RNAV. You're kind of locked in. Charlie 5. And then when you kick you out of the RNAV, you might as well be on an ILS because you're being vectored all over the place. And it is no longer an RNAV. Going back in and reprogramming the FMC. I don't know. Anyway, I ended up hand flying the flight directors in because I was having problems with picking up the RNAV. I think that might have something to do with version 4.0. So I guess I need to do another RNAV approach for 4.2. That's what I'll do later on. We're going to stop it right here. Cut the engines, set the brake. Okay. Put the transponder to standby and anti-collision off. Let's see if get that gate to work. Nope. That's another problem that X-Plane has. You go to a new airport and the gates don't seem to work. Let's see what's going on here in the stream. Yeah, I was flying AAL1 Alpha because somebody else had AAL1. Buddy R, hello, hello. Yeah, I don't fly an Airbus, so I don't know about the flare mode, but I know what you mean about the controller just was getting was changing people to the last minute, expecting them, 3-4 miles out to change their approach. With that much traffic, it just became a little too problematic. It was night, there was clouds. Okay, so let me, I got that APU still running. Set the parking brake. It chalks. Put the doors open. That attendant. Let's see what our landing rate was. Oh, thanks, JB. Let's play back the flight. It was a good flight. Let's see. Landing rate was 178. That's better than my average. Let me go ahead and file this first so I get credit for the flight. Join AVA. It's good. Yeah, I agree with you. Tango 23 it was a little, what's the technical term? Screwed up. It was fun though. Out of Houston was a blast. No problems. The whole flight. You know, they had all the. We went through what 5 RTEC, and they had everybody vectored just perfectly. I mean, staged just nicely. Let me. Why am I not picking that up? We're gonna leave that off, and that off, and that off. Okay, that off. Shut that off. Shut those off. Leave those hydraulics going. We don't want to drift away. Let's set the chocks. Remove the brakes. Hopefully we don't roll away. How much did I spend? I don't know, JB. You'll have to ask my wife. She bought it for me. Isn't that right, Jim? She pays all the bills. Yeah, it was a great flight. I'll do that again next year, I'm sure. I'm going to try to do more of the legs because it's around. I think they do 10 legs, and they start early in the morning, go all the way around the world at different 3 or 4 hour flights, so you can catch as many as you can. Yeah, one from Mexico City to San Francisco. I didn't get on soon enough. That would have been fun to do too. I ended up taking the Houston one to Vancouver. We had 70 planes coming in. Okay, we're good there. We're good there. We filed. We got a couple issues in the plane we got to work on. But being at the gates, ever since Sam went away, we've had nothing but issues. Yeah, marry rich. Keep marrying till you find a rich wife. That's what I say. I don't care how many wives you gotta get. My doggy just came in. Hi! Cute little doggy just walked in the door. Check out my stuff. Hello, sweetie. She's giving me the tail waggy. She wants me to go have my lunch because she wants her lunch. Yeah, she's giving me a little snort. Well, guys, is it a kit? Nah, you might, JB, you might go look at Flight Deck Solutions. Go to their website. I wouldn't call this a kit by any stretch of the imagination. It's more like a project. I've been working on it for about 7-8 years. If you were going to call it a kit, it comes in enough boxes to fill a garage. It's like getting your car built, sent to you in parts in boxes, putting a car together. That's the only thing I can relate it to. You know, cars don't come in kit. Well, they do come in kits, but it came. I had to assemble it, a lot of assembly, just to get it in this room, because it's full size. It's the actual size of a cockpit, and then I have the screens and everything and all the computers. So it's. Go to flight direction. Here, I'll even put the link up. Stand by. Now, there's a lot of people that sell stuff like this. I'll put up the link. So here is there's a link to Flight Deck Solutions. You can go look. I don't know if they're selling them to individuals anymore, mostly schools and stuff like that. But there's others like CP Flight, and Sysmo, Open Cockpits, SimWorld, FSC in Italy. There's quite a few companies that build different types of sims. This is a 737. It's probably one of the more popular sims. A320 is another popular one. Yeah, you know, the problem with getting one is being able to maintain it. There's a lot of work. If you don't have electrical, computer, building skills, you're going to be frustrated at first. It's just to have it sent to you in a box. You'll be crying. So recommend starting out small and building some stuff, and then building some more stuff. You can build a lot of this yourself. There's 3D printing files out there, and putting things together and getting hardware and I/O boards. It's a hobby. I spend just as much time working on it as I do flying it. Yeah, they do have a max. They have a max. And no, I could not convert mine to a max. I'd have to replace the whole MIP. It would be prohibitive. Well, it's not going to happen. They also have F-16 simulators. Look at their website. They got a really neat F-16. Yeah, unfortunately, you don't really see prices in their website. You might go check out CP Flight also. Let's see, CP Flight. Let's see what they say. CP Flight. There's the link for CP Flight. There's the link for SimWorld. There's the link for FSC in Italy. There's the link for Sysmo in Spain. There's the link for Open Cockpits. All those companies build 737 or A320 sims. You know, there's better ways than making money. You can, like I say, marry rich, rob banks, use your kids' inheritance. There's lots of ways to get money. but I strongly suggest you decide what you want to fly, what type of flying you want to do, military, GA, what sim you want to use. Do you want to fly? See, I can only fly a 737. That's all I can fly. Can't fly any other plane. No GA plane. This is only a 737. 800. I could fly it maybe as a 700 or a 900. Yeah, but not as an Airbus or anything else. Not long haul 777. Won't work. There's a lot going on behind the curtain that people don't realize. So you really gotta look into it and make sure it's what you want to do. But like Jim will tell you, the full immersion factor is pretty over the top when you're flying it. You can watch some of my videos, my YouTube, and see how much I enjoy it. Well, you're a commercial pilot in Brazil. Then you obviously, any commercial pilot that flies an A320 has got a leg up. But I don't know of any manufacturers in South America of this equipment. Mostly in Europe. Mine didn't come from Canada. Most of them in Europe. There's a couple more. One's in Turkey. I forget their name. And there used to be one in Russia, but we're not talking about that anymore. Here's a little front coming through Hawaiian Islands now. Ooh, Cirrus 22. That's nice. I'm not a pilot. I've taken some gliding lessons, but pilots keep looking down on people. This is a hobby. Okay, guys, I'm going to bail out of here. It's getting a little past lunchtime, and I got some more flights to do today. I will not be streaming. Just want to get this one in for SkyMatix and Nico, so he can check out the Zibomod 4.2. So again, I'm going to call that a success, and we'll move on and talk to you guys later. I want to thank everyone for showing up. JB, welcome to the stream. Feel free to join, or if you want to know when I'm flying, you can just hit the subscribe button and let you know. Lego Tango 23, it was good to fly with you the other day. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Jim, as always, I talk to you on a regular basis, and Miranda was in here, and good to see Miranda again. Who else came in? Captain Squid was here for a little bit, and Rudy Arcello. Who else? Blair Aviation Channel was in for the first time. Blair's Aviation Channel. I don't think I've seen him in here before. Maybe once. And Gene was here. Husky, 1976 Husky. He was in here. So I want to thank you all for being here, and I'm sure I'll be doing another flight in the next couple of days. So this is where we say goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen. Yeah, X-Plane 12. Oh, the Baron 58, okay. Yeah, Miranda just got into 12. She was in, Miranda was in 11, and the plane is a Baron 58 you fly now. Logging off. Stop stream.